Rev up your engines! Today I have an interesting one. I call it the best used car of a model that failed. A failure that you could buy. It's a 2012 Toyota Venza. Being a 2012, this one was made in Kentucky. The first models were made in Kentucky. Then they stopped for a year. Then they started importing them from Japan. And now, as of 2025, they don't make them anymore. So the brand failed. But why did the brand fail? Well, it has nothing to do with what's under the hood. This particular one has a dual VVTi 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine that's pretty much bulletproof. You could have also gotten them back in the day with a V6 engine that had like 282 horsepower, and it was pretty bulletproof too. And the transmissions didn't have any problems. Why did they fail twice? First the ones they made in Kentucky, then the ones they made in Japan. They failed twice because of marketing. This is a mid-size, even smaller SUV. There's so much competition out there. Toyota didn't know how to market. The last year they sold these in the United States, they sold like 500 something of them when it was the Kentucky version. Then the Japanese ones, they started selling 40,000 of them a year, but then the bottom kind of fell out of that too because there's too much competition in the small SUV market. Toyota's got good quality control, but as you can see, there's actually a limited amount of space. Yeah, you can put the seats down and then you can open the back and you get more space, but not nearly as much space as its competitors, and they're not giving these things away. And of course, a lot of people, if they want an SUV, they want to impress people, they want one that says Lexus. Now, if you really wanted to, you could take all the Toyota labels off, put Lexus labels on, you'd probably fool an awful lot of people. I had a customer who actually did that. Signs and a chrome, and I took the other ones off, glued the new ones on, and hey, a lot of people thought it was a Lexus, right? There's nothing physically wrong with most of these cars. They're excellent vehicles. It was just a marketing failure by Toyota. Now, this guy paid $8 grand for this and traded in a beat up old Hyundai for $2 grand. So he's got 10 grand in this thing. It's got like 100,000 miles. He just bought it. I don't know how much he knows about cars. He knows a little, it seems, but he got the best engine combination that they ever put in these things. These 4-cylinder engines can go forever. The problem with the later ones that were made in Japan that they no longer sell anymore is that they are only hybrids in the United States. And some people love hybrids, some people hate hybrids. The thing about a hybrid is you're rolling the dice and taking a real crapshoot if you're buying a used one, because they have all that super high technology in it. Now, I'm a mechanic. I got all the tools to work on them, but I'll give you a perfect example. Guy bought me one the other day, and he said, well, I changed part of the battery because it wasn't working right, and they were so expensive that I went to a junkyard, and these batteries, and the one he had 3 pieces. A left battery, a right battery, and one in the middle, a big hybrid battery. So he only changed one side. He did it with his friend, and it ran, but I said, bring it over, let me check it out. So I checked it out. Well, the used battery that he bought, the right 1/3 of it and the left 1/3 of it were both equally worn, but the little bitty one in the middle of the whole battery system, that was still 90-something%. But the battery that he bought used was in exactly the same worn out state as the other part of the battery that he didn't replace. So you're not going to be able to buy one of these and drive them forever when they're hybrids without a reasonable amount of expense. Kentucky made early one. It's basically a Toyota Camry with an SUV body. Got the same engine, you know those things could go 500,000 miles, same transmission. And in this case, you even get all-wheel drive. Hey, for the 10 grand he's got in this car, boy, he got himself a bargain. Came with these really good tires on it, look. Check it out. I mean, the tires are all in excellent shape, too. He got a great deal. Well, I'm assuming he did. We're going to put my computer on in a little while, take it for a road test, but this is basically a Toyota Camry. Everybody knows those things are pretty much indestructible, right? And the funny thing is, they're still selling a lot of Camrys, and it's the same thing. Camrys, you can only buy a Camry now that's a hybrid. To get 51 miles a gallon, it's insane, right? But the Camry hybrid Sales were just wild. People are loving them. But for some reason, the Venza hybrid, people aren't loving them. And the Venza hybrids are all made in Japan. The best made ones you could possibly get. So if you really want to get a hybrid, you can find a low mileage Venza. My advice is for a mechanic like me, check it out. Because if they're wrecked, flooded, anything, it can really destroy the hybrid systems. And our computers, we can look at it and tell you exactly what shape it's in. Let's say you brought me one and I said the battery's going out. And I'll say, okay, the factory battery is going to cost you $6,500, whatever it is, and the labor's this much. If you're going to buy that car, show him this printout that shows the battery's worn out, and he's going to knock that off the price of the car. You don't buy it. So there's always ways around that stuff when you're buying a used car. But I mean, the Camrys are basically the same car, same hybrid system, right? It's just that this thing is in a market position where people aren't buying them because there's too much competition, and I don't know why they got rid of them, and then a year later they brought them back with the same name. They should have just called them something else, you know? Now this one's got 100-something thousand miles, just a little over 100,000. You can see everything on it practically is original. Alternator, brake system. Of course the battery's been changed, you know that's gonna go out. But everything else looks to be pretty original on it. I don't see any places that have really been replaced, and that's typical for anything that's a Camry. Now, this is a northern car, so you're always gonna see corrosion, especially on the aluminum parts. It's only superficial. It doesn't mean anything. Look inside. This is why I tell people buy cloth interiors. Cloth interiors still in excellent shape in the front and in the back too. There's an interesting sticker. Caution, load carrying capacity reduced. Modifying those vehicles have reduced the load carrying capacity by 16 pounds. Well, I needed to lose 16 pounds anyway, so I guess I'd have to go on a diet if I bought this thing. Look around. The dash is in excellent shape, no cracks. It's got the transmission where you can either drive like most people do, or you can shift it manually with the shift you want. Nobody hardly ever does that. It's got the fake carbon fiber on it. Nice big sliding armrest. It's in excellent shape. Now it doesn't have a sunroof. So I say, great, I hate sunroofs, right? Now, that's another reason they didn't sell. There's a bunch of lunatics out there who believe they must have a sunroof in their SUV. You know, I mean, sunroofs are just stupid. They leak. All that wind comes blowing in. I mean, come on. I like cars that don't have sunroofs because they never leak. You get a sunroof, invariably, when they get old, with people like me who are cheap, I keep them 20, 30 years or more, right? They start leaking, then the water gets on the electronics and destroys stuff. You got a solid roof, you don't have to worry about that. There we go with the giant scan tool. We'll see what shape it's in. I don't expect any surprises, but you never know. Here we go. It's already beeping, so it's thinking. Did the vehicle already. We'll do a standalone diagnosis. Read the VIN. That was fast. Now it's decoding the VIN. Okay, I like this because it's got a real key, so it's without smart key. We got a Venza, North America, 2012. 1ARFE, indestructible engine without the smart key. So here we go. We can do a full topology scan, so away it goes while it's doing it. The interior is in good shape, back seat, roof and everything, nothing's falling down. And we got some trouble codes, but I can see a bunch of them aren't going to mean hardly anything, like the tire pressure monitoring system. Done, so let's start with the airbag system. That's got a code. Here it comes. Side satellite sensor, lost bus communication. Well, we really don't care about the satellite sensor. Who even uses these things anymore? We use our phones. So let's go to the body control module. It's got 5 codes, probably has more of the satellite nonsense on it. Let's see. Trouble codes. Realize he's the third owner. Look at this. Lost communication with restraint control. Lost communication with transmission control. Lost communication with PCM. Lost blah, 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 blah. Well, we'll erase those two because, as you can see here, it's a brand new battery. When you got an old battery, it has low power. It's going to trip all these stupid codes. So you just erase them and they don't come back. Who cares? Oh, here we go. There's another one, the immobilizer system. Well, you see that all the time. It'll probably say startability fault or some crazy thing. Let's see what the trouble code on that one is. And it is. Wait for it. It's coming. Unmatched key code. Okay. That means somebody tried to start it with the wrong key at some point in time. So we'll erase that one too. Okay. The owner admitted it was him. He had a key that wasn't programmed, so he's got to get that done. So he has a spare. And that's a very good lesson for everybody out there. If you get a used car and you only have one key, get yourself another key as fast as you possibly can, because if you ever lose it, it can cost you a fortune, because even though this is a key system and not a keyless, it still has an immobilizer. You go to any locksmith, they can do it for you. So that's another squirrely code that's gone, all that nonsense. Now the tire pressure monitoring system, those things always go because they get older and the batteries wear out in the tires. We'll see what crazy code that's got here. It'll probably be some of them aren't working. That's normally what it does. Yeah, data isn't received because it probably doesn't even have batteries that work anymore in the tires. Who cares? We'll get rid of those too, but they'll come back for sure. Right rear door motor. Okay, let's see what that code is. Probably lost communication. Let's see. Power window switch of right rear door fault. Well, it goes up and down, so we really don't care. So let's start this baby up. Look at some live data. So here comes live data. Remember, black's good, red's bad. Start looking through this stuff. Put it in gear, you get better data then. Mass air flow sensor's good. Lots of information, but voltage is good. Fuel system's closed loop. So we'll look at some more data. Data's looking good. Oil temperature and everything's good. And you can see the short-term fuel temp is 1.5. Sometimes it goes a little bit lower. And not bad for 100-something thousand miles. You know, that's 98.5% perfect. Their fuel tests, they're all complete. They're all fine. There's no misfires. It's got a 6-speed electronically controlled transmission. Actual transmission, not one of those CVT crappers. Something that can last forever. So here we go for a ride. It even sounds like a Camry, because it is a Camry. It's just an SUV body on top of a Camry. It's amazing that these things fail, because my wife rented the hybrid version of it when she went to Houston to visit her brother, and she drove 200-something miles. It was a fancy hybrid. She only had to put $5 of gas in it when she went back to the airport. So I don't know why they failed. She just came by and said, "Oh, that's like the one I rented." I said, "Well, this is the old version. You rented the new version." I said, "They don't make them anymore. They stopped making them in 2024. She said, "Well, that's ridiculous." And I agree. Now, it's got an in-between ride because it is an SUV. Now, it's not as bumpy as my Matrix, which is a tiny SUV. This is in between size of the Matrix and the size of, say, a Lexus or a RAV4 or something, which is why they didn't sell, because they're in between everything and they're relatively expensive. That's why I say, if you can find one of these used like he did for $8,000 in the trade-in on a $2,000 car, hey, go and buy it. These things can run forever. On the gas, look, just like a Camry. It's got plenty of get up and go, 6 speeds. Hey, what's not to like in this thing? But a lot of people didn't like them and they didn't buy them. But there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, basically, you're driving around in a Toyota Camry SUV. So, if you're looking for something like this and you get a deal like he did, shoo! Don't worry about the mileage. Doesn't mean anything on one of these, really. This one's got 107,000 miles. I've seen Camrys with 500,000 miles on them. I'll tell you, I don't even need a car. We got plenty of them. But if I ever found one of these in that price range, I'd buy it and put it in a barn or something, wait until one of my other ones blew up. This thing's just a joy to drive. Hey, he was smart to get rid of his Hyundai. He just put a timing belt and a water pump on the thing, and he decided it was rusting out. It's falling apart. Boy, he made a smart move buying this thing. Doesn't even make that much noise when the window's open. It's a really well-designed car. Kind of reminds me of a fancy version of my Toyota Matrix, right? Costs more, got a bigger engine. Well, it gets in the 20s for gas mileage because it's a big 2.7 liter 4. If you really want gas mileage, I'd advise buying the newer Venzas that are hybrids. Then you can get phenomenal gas mileage. But either way, they're well-made cars. Whether they're this made in Kentucky or the last ones that they stopped making in 2024, they were made in Japan. The best failed car you can probably buy. It's a Toyota Camry in the disguise of an SUV that can run forever, but for market forces, they didn't sell enough of them. They made them in Kentucky, then they stopped for a year. Then they made in Japan, and they're hybrids, and they get phenomenal gas mileage, but they couldn't sell enough of them, so Toyota said, pfft. But I say, hey, normally when they stop making a model, it's because it's a piece of crap and it's got problems. Not the case of these things. If you could use one like he did for $8,000 and a $2,000 crappy Hyundai trade-in, go ahead and do it. These things can run forever. It is just a Toyota Camry with an SUV body stuck on top of it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.